Hello everybody, welcome back to Skipper's channel here. Appreciate you tuning in. Had a couple of requests on how to gut and repin one of these. I saw a lot of these are zero pin, not this one, the 1100s. And I throw in some keys and some pins for people to be able to switch out the keyways and things like that to get new experience. So anyway, I had some requests of how to do that. And so what we're going to do is just jump right in here so we can show you what this is. Now this is an 11 American Lock 1300. It is identical on the inside to an 1100. It's got the APTC 12 core. So once we get the core out, everything should look very familiar for you. And as you can see, you can access it right here through the top. And we'll just grab our little screwdriver. Go ahead and take this key out so it'll fall out. Now this is an existing key. This is a key that I'm going to key it to. So we're going to go here. Grab this right here. Take the screwdriver, screw out to the top. These are all pretty easy, standard, nothing you have to really worry about. You can just let things fall out as they may. I'll just find somewhere nice to put that. So what you have right here is you have the regular standard core. Put this right up here a little bit closer to you so you can see. Just a standard core. When you get yours out, everything looks good. Skipper's going to put on his spectacles so I can see a little bit sharper. And so what you'll have is here's the key we're going to get to, and here's the original. A lot of people like to use a clip to take this off, but what I do is I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, see if I can get this tighter to show you how I do this. I get that bottom one set right into the bottom of the keyway right there. And as I take my fingernail and turn that top one, it usually catches. And as you can see, it starts to lift out. And this is just Skipper's wrong way of doing things, but usually I can grab that, or take a screwdriver or whatever, push it right out. Just like that. And then we have this. Now be careful here because things can fall apart on you really fast. This core will be able to just slip right out. Not right now with it all pinned up, but once I put this key in here, this is where you get into the opportunities to break your core. So please don't do that. Watch me very closely and do this. So what we're going to do is put the key in. Now, if you look on the back, you see this little raised section right here on the lock. So what we'll do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can stay on camera a little bit better. Is you want to make sure that raised section turns. So we're going to turn it counterclockwise, horizontal. So you see it's like this, and it's set toward the top. We want it towards the top because when I grab the follower, we're going to push the follower in. If this thing was turned like this and I push the follower in, these driver pins will start popping right out into the core, and it's just not fun. This is going to be the easy way. So as you can see, it's just like this, horizontal. And what I do is just grab the core right here, take the follower, and push with the follower. Do not pull the key out. I'm just going to catch the key. And as you can see, the follower is in just like this. Now, the follower is holding all those driver pins up in it. And as you can see right here is the 5-pin lock. So we're going to take these, and I'm just going to dump those right out over here. I'm going to try to dump them on camera so you guys can see a little bit better here. So I'm going to just kind of dump them in this little spot right here. And sometimes you can take that key and rake it, knock it a little bit. I've still got a couple left. But there we go. Looks like I had a couple number 1 pins in here, like a number 4 and a number 6 or something like that. Let's see. Well, let's look right here. If you can read that key, you can see that I nailed it right on there. 2 number 1s, a 6, a 4, and a 2. So we'll grab those and put those back and recycle those at some point. Anyway, now we have the blank core. Now, what you can do is if you have a key, sometimes on all your keys, and sometimes they don't. It just happens to be by chance if you find one. If you get a good key, sometimes you can look on here and they'll have the bitting right on there. So this is going to help us out a lot in getting the bitting ready. But I'm going to show you a couple things to look for when you pin these things up, because American locks are very, very tight tolerances. And so if you happen to put a number 1 and number 2 or number 5 and a number 6 or so forth, miss it, it might look like it's really good, but it's not. And when you put that key in there and you start to try to unlock that lock or turn that core, it's just going to hang right up, and you're going to have to pick it to get it back open. So first thing I'm going to do with this is for some beginners, and I told some guys I was going to show them how to do this, is American locks are not easy locks to pick. You know, once you learn it, you know, it becomes easier and all this, but they are the staple of lock pickers because they have the security pins. They want to pick in certain orders and things like that. So a good way to start to learn on American lock is to progressively pin the lock. So what we're going to do here is, well, I'll tell you what, before we get into progressive pinning, because I want to take some drivers out to do that, we're just going to show you how to rekey this real fast into doing that. So right here, again, I'm going to look at our hairnet bitting. There's 42763. So right here we go, 42763. So this is going to be pretty easy, pretty fast. Open up here, I've got some American lock pins here, and I've already got them labeled in here. So right here is my number 4. You know, let me hide that name. These aren't my favorite pinning tweezers. These are the ones I started off with. We'll set them over to the side. I got these. You can see they're a little bit thicker, a little more, you know, robust. I got these from CLK. Very nice. If you got the money to spend on some pinning tweezers, I recommend getting these because they are very nice pinning tweezers. So anyway, let me go back and look at that key again, make sure we're good. Number 4. We'll drop that in the first one right there. Number 4. And as you can see, when I put that in, that pin is just going to be perfectly flush at the top. And then, but what I'm going to do here, this is supposed to be number 2, but I'm going to grab a number 1 just to show you how close that thing look to being right. So there's number 1. And you may sit there and say, all right, I got this in here. And so let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit better here. Whoops, sorry about that. But as you can see, that number 1 is recessed just a little bit in there. And if you put that into the lock just like that, that lock is going to lock up and that key is not going to work. So you have to be sure to get the right size pin into it. And what I'll do is I'll drop in a number 3 in this one real fast so I can just show you how that looks. And you have one a little bit too long. So we'll put a number 3 in this chamber. And I want you to look, I mean, this thing just is really, really, really close. But if you look, and I'm going to zoom in again, you can see the difference between that first pin and this second one. Let me push that back in, just how it's up a little bit. Now, one thing nice about knowing you have a pin that's too long in your core is when you come to try to insert this thing in the core, it's going to stop right there, right on that. It's going to stop right on that pin because it's not going to be able to go in. That pin's too high. So, you know, what we're going to do is we'll take out that number 3. And a lot of times when you're repinning things, well, I dropped in the number 4 and the number 3 pin, and I'll find that little thing one of these days. There's one of the skipper moves that you usually catch on videos. So let's just go back and grab a number 4. Oh, no, wait a minute. I didn't lose my number 4. We're good. We'll drop in number 2. 4, 2. As you can see, that little thing's nice and flush. The next one's going to be a number 7. And then we'll go to a number 6. Actually, I'm going to grab one of my recycled ones over here. Drop it in there. And then 4263. So we'll grab our number 3. And drop it in here. Now we have this lock repinned. Now I'm going to show you guys a little secret real fast, or it's not really a secret, a lot of people know about this, but I just want to come in here and zoom in on this key one more time so you can see this is very important. American locks got very, very, very tight tolerances. So you can see how that's just perfectly flush. You can see me move that key, how they raise right up, but it's perfectly flush. None of them are set too low. They're just right on the money. So you want to make sure you have everything right on the money when you have it in there. Now, before I put this back in here and show you how to record this real fast, I do want to sit there and say that all American locks, 1100s, 1300s, they have this extra chamber right here. If you wanted to, and you've got a standard key just like this one, and you wanted to make a 6-pin lock, grab a number 4. Number 4 is the medium, middle of the range, everything. It only works on number 4s, and that's it, no others. But you can grab a number 4 pin, drop it in that last number 6 chamber, and I don't know why this thing's not wanting to drop in there. It's probably because it's never had a pin in there before. And that's exactly why, because it was pretty darn tight. But as you can see, when that key's in there, I'm going to zoom in to show you. Take a look at that, guys. The number 4 pin fits right there in the 6th spot on a 5-pin key. You see that? Because right there, it's got number 4 is going to rest right there perfectly in that angle. And so you can actually have you a 6-pin key wheel in your American lock pretty cheap. Now you will have to put a driver and a spool or serrated pin in that last chamber. But let's just go ahead and dump that 4 out if I can. That's the problem here. I knew that thing was tight when I put it in there. Let's see. Come on now, dump out of there. Tell you what we'll do. We'll just grab a pick. Lift him from the back side here, push him out, grab him with the tweezers because that chamber was tight. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pick right here, go all the way to the back, lift it out. There we go. Put on one. Grab that number 4 right there. Put him back in there. There we go. So now, I've got this cord ready to go. Now, this is very important. This is where a lot of times you can get in some pretty big trouble real fast. Do not put this lock back in vertical, because what will happen is that driver pin will hit that first chamber right here and lock your cord right up. So you want to make sure you're back in horizontal on top, just like this, and push it back in. Now, what I'm going to do here, to where my right hand was grabbing the cord before, my left hand is going to grab the cord like this. And then I have the key in hand, and then I want to just push it right in. Again, I'm horizontal. Now, here's something very important. Make sure this is all the way in before you decide to turn that cord. Because if you decide to turn that cord a little bit early, guess what happens? This will happen. Right? Nope, wrong one. This will happen. Sorry, I was 40-footing there. I just went and grabbed a cord over there. That was perfectly fine. But this one here is, I was recording an American lock, and I was just getting in too big of a hurry. And I put the thing in there, and I was just like, wham, just turn fast. You know, get it in, get it done, get on to my next one. And I turned it too soon. And I have bricked this cord up pretty bad, because now I have a driver pin here. I got a key pin sticking out there. And this cord is just bricked up right there because I did not push it all the way in before I turned it. Now, I should not have put this down yet, because we've got one more very important thing to do. But now that I've got our original cord here in, and I'm turning it back and forth, as you can see, it goes very smoothly. This is perfect. It's very important that you grab that C-clip again, right there, and snap it onto the back. So, now we're good to go to pull the key out. Do not try to pull that key out before you put that C-clip on there, because if you line that back up with this and you start to pull out, you're just going to either break that cord or things going to fly everywhere. That C-clip is going to hold everything in line where it's supposed to be, and then you're good to go. So as you can see, we've got this lock cord right back up. We're just going to drop it right back in here. I'm going to take it right out of here, drop it right back into here. Drop this in here. You'll take your pin right here, put it in. I'll just hold it like that. My screw is still in the lock, so hopefully it will go in nice and easy. And I like to reverse do my screw first, so I make sure I don't cross thread anything. So there we go, it's in there. And I'm just not going in. There we go, now we're going in. And you'll feel that thing. You don't need to over tighten. You just feel it when it snugs up. When that thing puts pressure right there, you're good to go. Got this thing going now. I will test this key one more time. We put it in there. Everything seems to be working perfectly. And yes, we have got this American lock rekeyed. So if you have a rekeying kit and you know, a bunch of different pins. You know, I have mine labeled, but let's just jump right here and kind of look at this one here. This is a pack lock key. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but pack lock and American lock keyways, they are pretty much interchangeable. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a 6-pin. As you can see, this thing fits in that keyway just fine. But what we're going to do here is show you how to progressively pin a lock. So come right here. I'm going to go through this pretty fast since I showed you how to do all this stuff the first time. Here, we're going to drop this core out. Good thing there. Okay, we're going to grab this right here. Grab that C-clip, pull that C-clip right off. And yeah, I have done many of these things, and I probably just be careful now because this right here now. Here's the original key that should work on it. Or maybe this is not the key. Yeah, it is. There it is. This one's just really tight. And gosh, I did not want to counter rotate. And sometimes you just have to be very careful to get that thing to go. Some of them don't want to go this way because of the tight tolerances. They've never been open to counter. So again, I just pushed on that key a little bit harder, got to go. I'm grabbing the cord with my left hand, push that right through. Here's the key pins. I'm going to dump them all back over here. So everything's out. We're good to go off that lock. And then what I'm going to do here is we're going to start we're going to initially just go ahead and say progressively pin this lock. So what that means is you're learning how to pick a lock. And American lock's pretty difficult because it's got 5 to go, or 6 if you do that 6 pin. But a lot of times they want to go in order. So what you'll have is you may come in here, and I'm going to grab this right here and kind of show you. You may come in here and you'll lift this one, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to narrate a little bit better. You'll lift this pin right here, and it's just loose. And this one's loose, and all of a sudden you got a binder. So you bind that thing, and it pops a couple of times and say, okay, I think I got that one set. Then you'll come right here and lift this one, it's loose, and then you come in here and, oh, that one's bind. Boom, then you'll pop that one. Then you'll come back here, and finally number 1's binding, so you can push it, pop it. Then number 2 may not bind, number 3 may not. And so anyway, a lot of times these things go in here, but with these security pins, just because you went through them one time doesn't mean you will not have to touch them again. So be careful not to overset them. But let's say if you had a spool pin, and let me just kind of throw a key in here. And we'll take a couple pins and kind of show you how they set up. So I'm going to take like a number 2 pin, put it right here. Number 2s do really good with spools. Actually, I think number 2 is supposed to go, it doesn't matter, we're good. So as you can see, right now that's setting up pretty good in that one right there. So if I take this out, you can see that number 2 is really set in there pretty good, pretty deep now. Oops, sorry about that. So what we're going to do is kind of show you how a spool pin will work. So I'm going to go up here and grab a spool. And when this thing's sitting in the lock before you pick it, that spool sits in there just like that. And look how deep that spool, that driver, now this is the driver pin. This is the one that's supposed to stay all the way up here at the top. This is the one you're lifting out. So, you know, that spool pin right there is going to sit in pretty darn deep on this thing. So you can see a spool pin's pretty effective on the on number 2. because it's going to cause you to have some counter rotation on that one. Now, we also have serrated pins. I mean, you can stick that in there. What's going to happen with these, I grabbed 2 of them, pardon me on that, is, let me grab this serrated pin so I can show you a little bit better. So you can see a serrated pin just has a bunch of cuts all the way up and down. American locks have both serrated and spools in them. They'll have one or the other, but if you put that in there, every time you hit that shear line hits that one of those little notches, that thing's going to click, 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 click all the way up. So if you have a 2 on a serrated, it's going to click, 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 click until you finally hit that more solid click when it hits that shear line. Now be careful not to push too hard, because if you push too hard, you'll take that thing and you'll just go boom all the way through and push it through too far. Now, again, back to progressive pinning. You can take a full-size key, just like this one here. Now, this is going to be a 6-pin. Yeah, that's not good bitting. That's all too low. So I'll just go ahead and we'll just do this one here, show you how progressively pin on the original key. So now what we have is I have my follower here. Now my follower has a little gap right there. So, we know that this thing has 5 drivers in it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in right in here, and I'm going to watch this thing right there before it hits, because I see where it is right in here right now. So the last one will not have anything in it. So that's empty. As we can see right there, it's empty. But as I start to back up to my next one, you can see a pin in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out these last 2 pins in this American lock. That way we can make it easier to pick, to learn on, because sometimes it's just so frustrating that you just you don't want to give up on picking on. I'm going to turn it this way, back it up so I can just reach in here and grab this thing a little bit easier. Sorry, I'm off camera again. We'll try to show this thing how to grab that. So we're going to push that up. Boom, there it is. The pin popped right out. I'm going to pop out a little bit. Let's see what there is. So that was a serrated pin that's in there. Now there's also a spring that's in here, so we need to make sure we knock it out. As you can see, the spring just fell out. And then we're going to back it up one more time. I like to hold this so pins don't fly everywhere, kind of control them popping. And that looks like a spool pin. So this one had a spool pin in it there. So now I'm going to push that follower back through. I'm going to take this core, and we're going to pin up the first 2 keyways here. I mean the first 3. So this one is 116. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a number 1 here, a number 1, and a number 6 right there. So we'll take a 116. I'm just going to take the original pins, put it back in here. This is called progressively pinning 1 up. There's 1. Number 1 there. And then we'll grab a number 6. And I hope that's a number 6. Let me just put the key in just to make sure. Yes, they're all nice and flat and even. So that's all I'm going to do is just my first 3. So I took pins out of here. So now I'm going to take this, put it back into my lock. And I just put this thing in backwards, guys. So be careful not to do that. That's a skipper mistake. And I knew I put it in backwards because of the little notch right there. So this circle part goes there. So be careful. Don't do what I just did. But we didn't lose anything, so we're good. I pushed it all the way in. Now I turn, as you can see, this thing turns. We'll grab our C-clip right here, put it on. And right now you have a 3-pin American lock. So now you can put this thing in right here just like that. And right here, here. and it works just fine as a lock, but it only has 3 pins, but it does have security pins. So what you can do at this point is grab your favorite pick, grab your tensioner, I always do top of keyway, it's just me, and start to pick. Now this one's loose, that one's binding, you can see there. There we go. And we just picked open a 3-pin American lock, just like that. Now, it can be that easy. It might not be that easy, but you will learn this lock. Now, once we do that, let's lock it back up and go there and see everything works great. Now, we're going to take this thing apart again. And so take that 3-pin, pick it several times, learn that lock, and then take it apart. Drop that core out. Drop out the retainer C-clip here. Again, I'm making a mess of my desk. I'm getting all kinds of stuff out here. We're going to grab that key, counter rotate it. Again, that's horizontal that way. I'll take my follower, hold the core, push it through. That way I don't miss anything. Okay, so now we're here with this one. So now I'm going to take a, let's see what it's supposed to be on here, number 4. So now I'm going to take my number 4 pin, put it right in here. And as we can see, it is perfectly flush. It's not down too deep, not up too high, so number 4 is ready. But I will also have to come right here and make sure you do this the right direction. Don't start pulling that away. You're going to pop out your number 1, 2, and 3 drivers. So you got to go back this way. And right there I am on the number 4 chamber. Okay. We're going to take this, drop in the spring right in there. I hope you guys can see that. Probably not. So I'm going to zoom in and try to get this on camera if I don't mess it up. Okay, there we go. See that spring in there? Now the spring should drop all the way in. There we go. We just knocked it in. And then I'm going to take this little spool pin, put it right in there. And then what you have to do is take your tweezers. And what I like to do is I like to push down on top and then just rotate that core right over top of it. There we go. So now we have number 4 in there. Come right here. Again, horizontal, push it right through. We're pinned up to number 4 and put our clip back on. Don't forget that clip. Take this out, put it back in here, put it back in your lock. You're good to go. Let me zoom out so I can keep all this good stuff on camera. And so forth, so on. So you can just start putting up, taking apart, put it together. That's how you progressively pin a lock. And that is probably the best way for a beginner to learn how to pick an American lock. Is take 2 of those back pins out and start picking 3 at a time. That way you can feel those security pins in there. And then you can feel what to do. And then you go through and pick that 4th one, because you know what? When you put that number 4 in there, it may go in a totally different order than what you started off with 3. To where I was starting off on the 2nd disc, I might be starting off on the 4th disc this time and then going to the 2nd, 3rd, 1st, like that, and picking in that order. So, you know, you can do that. You can sit there and switch your drivers out into these things if you want to have some fun and have a little different picking experience. But anyway, this is how you progressively pin a lock. I'm not going to go too much further. The video is getting a little bit long. So good luck, guys. Shoot, you know, these videos are everywhere on YouTube, but if you watched mine and you like it, appreciate it. And I'm pretty excited here. I just got this in. That's the first time I got my 15,000th Jimmy Longs in. So this is he makes wonderful picks. We get them off the Lock Pickers United, He has great pricing. I think his website's jimmylong.com. Now, hold on a minute, let me look real fast. And I can tell you for sure. But he has great pricing. It's jimmylongs with an S.com. Great pricing on picks. And let me tell you one thing. You probably go there right now. You might look it up and you'll see that he's totally sold out. So when they're up and they go fast. So, good luck on trying to find them. But when you get them, they are absolutely fabulous picks. And let me tell you one thing. You cannot beat the price of them. There's some pretty good things there. And Jimmy has not asked me to promote him or anything at all. So, yeah, but just be sure to go through and do that. I'm going to look right here. And that is Jimmy with one M. But if you put in two M's like I just did, I think it pulls it up anyway. So anyway, good luck, guys. Hope that helps out. Showed you how to gut, repin, put back together American lock. Again, showed you how you can break one really easy if you rotate that thing back too soon and drop that driver pin back into an empty spot on the lock. It'll break up a core pretty fast. I'm going to try to figure out one of these times here how to get this one out. I'm sure I can figure it out and get it done. I just haven't spent any time on it yet. Anyway, must have is a follower. Be sure to do that. And like I said, it's just very important to make sure you have that key turned sideways when you're pushing that thing through so you don't have springs and pins and everything flying everywhere. Anyways, I'm going to put this one back together while you guys go have watch The Bachelor or something like that with your wives and or with your husbands, so you can go catch a little bit of TV and do that. I'm going to put this last one back together here and be good to go. So you guys have a great day. Appreciate you tuning in. Give me a thumbs up. Take care.